Expedição ao Rio Cartagena.
Que coam na imensidão, montanhas sussurram a história em canção, selvas guardam segredos, mistérios no chão. O vento chama, o céu clamor, cada quilômetro um novo sabor. O tempo esconde, mas somos caçadores. Rio Cartagena, cruzando a vida, 30.000 quilômetros, alma guerrida das civilizações, as alturas perdidas. Rio Cartagena, história vivida.
Pessoal, aqui atrás de mim, grande objetivo dessa expedição, o motivo pelo qual estamos vindo na Colômbia, o Lago Guatavita. E aqui, um ritual muisca que acontecia aqui nesse lago, que deu origem à lenda mais famosa da América do Sul, conhecida no mundo inteiro, o Dorado. Como acontecia? Quando ia entrar um novo líder muisca, esse líder ele era coberto com uma goma e borrifavam nele pó de ouro e ele ficava todo dourado. Também borrifavam pó de ouro numa jangada e ali ele se vestia com peças de ouro, joias, pedras preciosas, e vinha todo um séquito nessa jangada de xamãs e pessoas importantes, cada um trazendo seus presentes. Eles navegavam até o centro do lago, ofereciam seus presentes para Mamacocha, e então esse novo líder mergulhava no lago e renascia, ou seja, ele renascia da água da vida e deixava no lago esse ouro que foi coberto nele e os presentes e tal. Quando os espanhóis chegaram na costa da Venezuela, eles acharam que o ouro estaria mais ou menos na linha do Equador, porque recebe mais raios de sol. E entraram pelo rio Orinoco, eventualmente o rio Meta. Então eles ficaram sabendo desse ritual. Conseguiram contar para eles, os indígenas, que eles vieram sequestrando, torturando e matando, sempre buscando ouro. Cadê o ouro? Ah, essas peças de ouro que você tem, da onde vem esse ouro? Eventualmente, os indígenas, acho que esses caras querem ouro, né? Tem um cara dourado, que ele faz esse ritual lá pra cima. E aí os espanhóis, o cara se pinta de dourado, o dourado, El Dorado, era a pessoa. Conforme eles procuraram por anos o tal El Dorado, essa lenda foi crescendo. Então chegou um momento que ele toma banho de ouro todos os dias, então deve ter ouro sobrando na região. As casas são todas de ouro, os telhados de ouro, as ruas são de ouro, tudo na cidade El Dorado é feito de ouro, a não ser o que é comestível. Então quando finalmente os espanhóis chegaram aqui, eles encontraram os indígenas com peças de ouro, porque os muiscas são muito bons ourives. Você vai ver o trabalho deles, que a gente tem um episódio no Museu do Ouro, que é extremamente refinado e muito bem feito. Então eles eram muito bons, então eles usavam ouros, mas não era o Eldorado idealizado pelos espanhóis. Então eles não reconheceram esse lugar como o Eldorado e continuaram procurando. É claro, eventualmente, eles descobriram que aqui que acontecia esse ritual ainda não era o Eldorado para eles, mas eles sabiam que aqui haviam oferendas, que são essas pedras preciosas e todo esse ouro que os muiscas jogavam aqui sempre que se trocava o chefe. Então eles começaram, eles têm uma fenda ali, ó. Eles escravizaram os indígenas e obrigaram eles a cavar um túnel, porque aqui era fechado, não havia essa fenda. E a água vinha até mais ou menos aqui onde a gente está, era cheio até a boca de água. Era muito mais profundo do que é hoje. Obrigaram eles a cavar um túnel pelo outro lado. E quando finalmente atingiram a água, o que aconteceu? Todo esse volume de água aqui foi saindo pelo túnel. Matou os indígenas que estavam cavando, matou um monte de espanhol, porque saiu com uma força tão violenta que acabou também cavando aquela fenda que você vê hoje. O que sobrou escorreu assim e acabou tampando o túnel de novo. Hoje eles estão há 20 anos tentando proteger essa área. E o ideal para eles é que essa área volte a ser o que era antes. É claro, eles não vão tampar a fenda e botar o nível da água aqui em cima, mas eles querem recuperar os animais, a vegetação que havia aqui. Bom, você vai ver mais detalhes sobre isso com o percurso que a gente fez com a nossa guia Tatiana. Foi excelente, explicação maravilhosa. E a gente vai colocar aí para vocês verem agora. Bem-vindos ao Eldorado.
So when did the Spanish arrive in Colombia?
There is record. They started during the 1513.
1513.
Yeah, because Bogota is declared Bogota, Santa Fe de Bogota, on the 1835. So, you know, like 30 years, wherever there was an indigenous settlement, they started to take over. That's why we have Zipaquira town, for example, because there used to be like the office of indigenous people. Because the salt mine is there, they will, you know, it's like when you go to work and you get the money, your paycheck, and so you say, okay, this paycheck is for my rent, for my food, for stuff. Indigenous people, they will say, okay, so all of this salt, we're gonna trade it for fish, gold, cotton and stuff. Then they will walk all the way to Candelaria, trade it there, and then come here and offer it to the lagoon. Yeah, it's like, you know, you go to work, you get the money at your job, you go to the supermarket, to the downtown area, you get whatever you want for home, and then home is a different place, right?
I was in Cusco in July. The Spanish arrived there, they said 1510. So about the...
Curuba. A couple of years ago, Colombia we had El Niño phenomenon, right? We had a general drying, it wasn't raining as much, it was a little bit warmer in general, right? Maybe you got a passion fruit dessert, right? Half of it was passion fruit, the other half was Curuba. Why? Because Curuba doesn't take as much water as passion fruit to be produced, even though they are cousins, they belong to the same family, right? It looks like a cucumber on the outside, but on the inside it looks like a passion fruit, right? What's the difference? Curuba is a little bit more bitter than passion fruit. So that's how you were able to tell that the passion fruit dessert wasn't fully passion fruit because it was very bitter, exactly. Personally, I don't like Curuba. Do you like Curuba?
We tried it yesterday, right? No?
No, that
But
wasn't that
they
one.
did it. No, we didn't try that. We tried different ones.
I don't like it, but people who likes that says that the only yeah, they say a good way to have it is in a juice with a lot of milk.
Oh, yeah.
Which for me is suspicious. Why do you need a lot of milk for something to taste good? It should taste good on its own. So it's really maybe not that good if I have to put a lot of things on it, right?
But you never tried.
Yes.
You did.
Just the fruit on its own, yes.
You didn't like
No, not at all. Yeah, they have worked a little bit more. Now, right now they are inside the ceremonial house. Right, we're gonna take a seat on the outside. When they leave the house, I'll show you the inside. This is the inside of the curuba. Así se ve. So, ceremonial house, right? The Kuzmul, the female home. This whole territory, what we know as Cundinamarca territory, is considered female territory. Why? Because we have the lagoons, it rains a lot, there are no gold mines around here, right? The north of the country, what we call the Caribbean, it is a little bit more sunny, a little bit more warmer, right? And we do have gold mines over there, and it doesn't rain as often. So does it make sense for the north to be the male territory attached to the sun, and for this to be the female territory attached to the water?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, the difference between a female home and a male home then will be on the inside. The female home has 4 guayacan logs. The male home has only 1. What is guayacan? A tree, the sacred tree for indigenous communities, right? When Spanish people got here, because they wanted everybody to be Christian, if you committed a sin, the punishment was for you to cut out a guayacan tree and to plant a coffee tree. That's why we are a coffee country nowadays. Wet coffee, with many other things, is an introduced species. Where is coffee coming from? Ethiopia, Africa, right? It is called Arabic brand. We have 2 kinds of coffee in the world, right? Arabica and Robusta. Robust and Arabic. What's the difference? The Robust is pure caffeine, right? Doesn't really has a flavor. It's just you just need to be active, be working all days, kind of way too bitter. Arabic flavor on the other side is like wine, has tones, has flavors, has levels of acidity, right? That's why we use this one. Because even though it has a caffeine, right, we don't care about being active. We care about the flavorness, right? That's why you have a lot of variety of
Drink Arabic or we drink
Arabic.
Oh, it doesn't have caffeine?
It does have caffeine, but it doesn't have as much as the other one.
Because they're all sugar. I was thinking.
No, they do have. It's just that it's not the main thing about it, right? You don't drink it just to stay away. You drink it because it tastes nice, exactly, because of the flavor. Now, guayacan tree, right? Why do we have four of them over here? Because they each represent each of the elements: fire, water, air, and soil. The male home has only 1 log because it represents the connection between the material, physical world and the spiritual world, right? Why are the houses round? For indigenous people, corners imply energy just shocking or staying static, and we don't want the energy to just sit around. We want energy to always flow, right? This female home then is where the community will gather. Hey, are we doing good with the community? Shall we improve something? Do we need to change something, right? This is also the place where we will choose new caciques. What was the cacique again? The chief, the boss, right? The one with the power. If you are the cacique, who do you think is next to replace him? Who do you think is gonna be next to replace him? The chaman? The son? Any son? The oldest son, right? Usually it will happen like that. In Egypt, for example, right, the pharaoh's kids was the next pharaoh. But it also happened that the pharaoh's kids wasn't the pharaohs. It was the priests, the neighbors, right? And indigenous people were not messing around with that, right? In Colombia, we have a saying, translates a little bit like this: Los hijos de mis hijas, mis nietos serán. Los hijos de mis hijos, en duda estarán. Translates, the kids of my daughters will be my grandkids, but the kids of my sons, I can only trust they are my grandkids. Meaning, when a girl has a kid, we saw it coming out of her, right? We can be sure it's hers. But fathers can only trust they were part of that process, right? And indigenous people, they didn't have paternity tests. So if you are the cacique, go have all the kids you want. Nobody cares. Who knows if they are yours, right? But you have sisters, you have female cousins, and we can be sure the family goes through the side of the mother, right? Right? So who is next in line to replace him? One of his nephews, right? And they can be
It has to be from the female.
from one of his sisters, yeah. If you have brothers, nobody cares about your, yeah. So,
That's very smart. Yeah.
they can be regular kids, right? Stay in their house with their parents until the 9th birthday. When they turn 9 years old, they are taken into a kuka, a cave, in the middle of the mountain, right? They are not allowed to go out during the daylight. To see the sunlight is considered a distraction. They cannot have any salty, any spicy, or any sweet food. They cannot have any contact with females. They can only come out one night per month during the full moonlight to get to know the territory at night. They are only visited by the old wise men of the community to teach them, right? How long are they going to stay inside the cave? 9 years.
9 years.
1 year per month of pregnancy, right? What did you do when your mothers were pregnant with you? When you were in your mom's belly, what were you doing in there? Growing, right? Taking
9
nutrients
months,
from
so
her,
9 years.
right? Experimenting the world, but through your mother. Whatever your mother felt, you felt it, right? That's why some people is born with really strong fears, with really strong emotions, because their mother felt it during the pregnancy, right? This is what these men are doing in the mountain. They are taking nutrients, wisdom from Mother Nature. They are experimenting the universe, but through the mountain. Whatever the ground feels, they are gonna feel it, right? The idea is for them to train their bodies, their minds, their emotions, right? After those 9 long
To
years.
get awakened. I put it this way, right? To get awakened.
Exactly, see, hey, see if you can. Exactly. In a female home like this, there will be a fire test. For 3 nights, 3 days, 3 nights, as he is naked, his only task is, this fire over here. Don't let it go down so it disappears. Don't let it go so big so it burns the house. Just keep it at this height, just there, right? The only task, just focus on the fire. What's the catch? The most beautiful girls of the community will come into the house singing and dancing, trying to distract him, right? The girl's objective, to distract the men. The men's objective, not get distracted by the girls, right? And this is a young man, only 18 years old, right? He hasn't seen girls in 9 years, and he's naked. It will just be a matter of time for him to show any emotion, any distraction towards the girls, right? The girls will start screaming. That would mean he failed
The
the
girls
test.
also naked or no?
The girls, well, they will
maybe.
be, hey, are you paying attention to me?
If girls naked, it's a problem. If not, then you can.
It shouldn't be a problem, though, right? That's the thing. He should be able to control himself, right? So the girls start screaming. Then a lot of watches, the warriors, will come in, take the men outside of the ceremonial house, and cut his bodily most sacred extension, which is penis. No, the nose,
The hair.
the hair.
The hair, probably.
What else?
No idea? His hair, guys, hair.
Yeah,
You're
white,
right.
white penis.
White hair.
It's crazy.
If there will be no community anymore. White hair. In the Bible, Samson, when he got he lost all of his strength. For samurai men, when they lose the hair, they lose the honor, right? For indigenous people, when they lose the hair, they lose all of the spiritual self. It's like cutting the roots of a tree, right? It's cutting the spiritual roots of a man. If you cut the roots of a tree, the tree will die, right? If you cut the hair of an indigenous man, he died as a spiritual person, right? So he has 2 options by this point. Either grow your spiritual self again or go and commute with nature now that you know how to survive on it, right? This is again a young man who spent 9 years training his mind, his body, everything, and he got distracted by a girl.
That's what happens in war.
How can we actually trust him to take care of the community, to be wise in his choices? We can't, right? That's why he lost all right to be nephew of the cacique. He cannot be part of the community anymore.
And they start all over again with somebody else?
Remember, you are the cacique, right? You have several kids. You don't choose just one of them kids. Whenever they all turn 9 years old, everybody's taken to the cave,
You mean
right?
nephew?
All of the nephews,
All,
yes.
all the boys?
Yes.
Only boys.
But sometimes one goes along.
What do you mean?
Just one.
Oh no, each of them has their own cave.
Oh,
They don't go together,
he
no.
stays 9 years alone.
Yes.
Of course.
That's
what is the point?
You either become
If
crazy
they're
or
gonna
you
be
become
together.
very strong.
Yeah.
That's the only option. Crazy or strong.
And so,
That's solitary.
Or you find the peace, or you get crazy.
Exactly.
I'm not
The
ready to
idea
go
is
like that.
learn to survive, learn what mother is giving you, and learn to work.
So they have to eat only things from there?
You know, drink water from the bromelias, eat the worms. Anybody afraid of snakes by chance? Yeah, well, you can be sure.
Venomous ones, yeah.
Well, in this mountain, actually, there are no snakes, so you can rest at peace, right? What's the thing? Whenever it rains, like it may at any point, there is a worm that comes out of the ground, right? I think we have all seen that worm that comes out whenever it rains, right? The thing here is that when it's grown, it can be thicker than a Gatorade cap, and it can grow bigger than a meter. Ciao, of the water, jump inside the lagoon, remove the whole of the gold, right? And after sunrise, you come out of the water. Your uncle is waiting for you at shore, so you come to your uncle. He covers you in a blanket. You are given chicha, and everybody starts celebrating, right? Why are we doing this? So you are made a man of gold because we are representing the Father Son going into Mother Nature, and you are born from the mother and the father, and that's why you are allowed to rule, right? And we are all celebrating because Mother Nature is allowing us now to have a new leader that is gonna take care of us, and it's gonna allow the community to continue growing, right? Remember, if the water just chooses to dry off, to stop, because there is no really explanation where the water is coming from. It's just a natural source, right? If it just runs out, what are we doing around here, right? So we will start offering to the lagoon the figurines. Again, it's like when you go to church and you want to share the happiness you feel in your life, right? Like you feel the universe has given you a lot, so you share a little bit of what you have received, right? Giving away money, giving away food, giving away something. Indigenous people will give these figurines that represented the partnership, how everything worked in the community. Is the other group for us?
Yeah.
So let us peer pressure her. Let us just stand on the door.
Encontramos, por ejemplo, algunas platicas como estas. No son nativas, son abusilones.
The gold figurines you see on the wall are gold figurines that were found in this mountain. Again, they look 100% gold, right? But they are not. Only 30% gold. The other 70% is either copper, silver, or platinum, right? They are not as big as they look on the pictures. They are like this big, 7-8 centimeters big, right? These four over here are the last four that they found in this mountain. They found it on 2006 when they were building the stairs that were gonna go up, right? Over there, the map where the 160 indigenous communities used to be settled through the north of the country. Over here, you get a picture of how indigenous people used to dress. Because some people believe they will only cover the important stuff, right? But if they will cover the important things up here, they will freeze to death. You see, they used full gowns made with cotton. But cotton doesn't grow in this area of Colombia. So where do they get the cotton? In Candelaria. Candelaria neighborhood is the oldest neighborhood in Bogota because those 160 indigenous communities will go down and gather in what today is Candelaria and trade. Muisca community, they will give salt and get gold, fish, seeds, cottons, whatever they wanted because they owned the resource, right? And they will bring it all over here to offer it to the lagoon. Over here, you get to see this iron that the cacique has on his nose, right? It is attached to his nose and it is hanging over his mouth. The idea is for him to feel pain every time he speaks, right? Even though the cacique is the power, the authority, the cacica is the wisdom authority, right? His power, she is knowledge. So, the idea is if you have nothing good to say, if we don't need to hear it, if it is not necessary, don't say it. Whatever you say must be so necessary, so wise, so pure for you to actually endure the pain, right? If no needed, don't say it, right? Okay, let's continue walking then. Remember to leave that in the comments.
Por esta puerta. Y ubíquense acá en el centro un momento, ubíquense en las vaquitas.
Right here. They have a nest right here. Las mirlas. With the orange pea. Yes, they are supposed to come from that El Dorado place. They're supposed to be sun rays delivered to mean happiness. Like, remember that you're supposed to be happy, supposed to be grateful, right? So maybe we see a couple. Hummingbirds. Yes, sir.
Tem uma faca aí.
You received the message.
Você não vai tirar na mão.
And you didn't share?
Quebra.
So, where was I in the story? No, before that, in the other side. Where was I in the story?
Oh, so they goes to the lake covered in gold, so it comes out of the lake.
Right, and we are all
Everybody
happy
starts thinking.
celebrating, offering things to the lagoon. That's the story Spanish people heard, right? There is a man made of gold throwing treasures into the lagoon, and under the lagoon there is the city completely made of gold decorated with emeralds. I told you, I'm gonna tell them, right? Where is this coming from? So, that place filled with light made with gold, right, was the afterlife for indigenous people. I was explaining to them, like, in Christianity, in Catholicism, the afterlife, they explain it as this place. Heaven is made with clouds, right? No all milk and honey, no pain, no hunger, right? For Vikings, Valhalla was a place where you will fight and drink beer for eternity, right? Yeah. For indigenous people, for Muisca community, the afterlife was a place filled with the Father Sun, the Father Light, right? And because the gold was the closest thing you could have in your hands to the light, gold wasn't a currency. It was a ceremonial item that represented light. So the city was made with gold, right? Why was it under the lagoon? Lagoons, we shouldn't swim in lagoons because lagoons have a lot of plants, a lot of algae, right? And as you're swimming, you get tangled with those plants and you drown, right? If you went swimming in the Guatavita lagoon and you drowned, you will end up in the spiritual world of the indigenous community, right? That place filled with light, made with gold. But you wouldn't be able to bring it from the other side. It will remain there, right? Spanish people didn't really know this until 100 years later when they created some damage. Did they move already? Yeah, let us go over there and I'll tell you more stuff. And still there is many
Tirar isso aqui, ó.
Dorado cities. Mexico, Ecuador, Brazil, Panama, and Colombia, there is a Dorado.
Tira isso.
On the ground. What do you see? Number 8. An eye? Number 8. Yeah. What else?
Infinity.
An infinity symbol, yes. What else?
Female?
A what?
Female.
Okay, what else?
2 worlds, and then this is the part in common.
Okay, yes. Okay, what is this? What are we representing here? Here we have the creator principle, right? We humans are led by an initial feeling, idea, emotion, feeling, right? That initial feeling, idea, whatever, is gonna make us do physical actions in the world, right? those actions are gonna bring consequences, right? Only for me? No, for my group, for the community, for nature, for whoever and whatever is around me, right? It is proof that only by putting your attention on something, that something will change just because your attention is on it, right? So it's that, right? Only in this lifetime, guys? Are the consequences only for this lifetime? No, exactly. You know, exactly. It's believed through history, many communities, whatever you do in this lifetime, you're gonna have consequences on the afterlife, right? So the invitation here is what emotion, what feeling, what idea is leading your actions. Then what consequences are you allowing back to yourself? Remember, not only in this lifetime, but for your
Everything what you
afterlife.
think. Be careful what you think. They say.
Basic.
Everything what you think is just a
That's from the community?
Yes.
And that's still doing that with the spiritual retreats. I look at that.
If you pay attention, all the religions speak the same thing. They just call things a different way, right? But we have all worked through the same idea. Just be kind to your surroundings and start with yourself, right? Now, guys, what is changua? Yes, nowadays changua is a soup, is a breakfast made
But I don't know because I knew from here, we don't have that.
made with milk, onion, potato, colander. You put cheese on it and almojábana, right?
Really?
Some people don't like it, right? They say, "What do you mean a soup made with milk, potato, and onion,
and
and egg?" Huh?
An egg.
an egg. Yeah, she told us yesterday. I forgot probably.
But the word changua in Muiscugun language means happiness. Generally, to have a reason to be grateful in life, right? So if I were to ask you right now, are we changuas?
Yes.
Yes, of course, we have reasons to be happy, to feel gratitude, right? As we go on, the idea is for me to check on your status, how you're feeling, if you're feeling tired, if you feel like going on, right? Remember, once we start going up, we cannot go back, right? I'm gonna ask in Muiscugun language, how you doing? I'm gonna say chowa. And if you feel like, yeah, no, let's continue, we're doing fine, let's go on. You say chowe. Let us practice. Chowa. Chowe. Awesome. Let us continue. Chowe. Now, guys, there is a yellow flower on top of you. There's a couple of them over there. These three over here. They come in yellow, white, the red one, purple, and they also come in pink. Although I haven't seen that yet. Right? Do you know it? Do you recognize the tree?
No.
No? It has many names. Cacao sabanero, borrachero, trompeta de ángel, dormilón. Floripundio, muy bien, exacto, sí. They are all over Bogota, actually. And the white flower is actually the strongest one. If you get the chance, take a walk under the tree. Take a smell, but then just take a smell and then leave. Because if you stay smelling the tree, you may fall asleep.
Oh, wait, doesn't make you sleepy.
If you take the flower and you make an infusion with the flower, it will reduce your anxiety, right? All of the painkillers in Colombia come from this plant, right? Who had the coca tea? How was it? Good, right? Exactly. Right? It's just a coca tea, a plant, right? The coca is a plant, which used to be the sacred plant for indigenous people, right? Traditionally, the way to consume it is that you take the leaf and you make it a powder, right? You take the shells of the snails and you also make them a powder. You mix them together to alkalinize the plant, right? Nowadays, you get the same effect with baking soda. But then they will make it a powder, sniff it, and that's what indigenous people call mambiar, right? This is what they will use to go up and down the mountains without getting the altitude sickness, right? Of course, we're not gonna be offering things to sniff. That's why we offer the tea.
You can put it in your...
You can also chew on the leaf and have the same effect.
One day you can put just like... I do that.
Come on.
Like little spoon, you put it in the back. Between your gum and your teeth, yeah. And you just absorb it slowly.
That's why we came, right?
Yeah, it's illegal in America. It's illegal? Yeah, you can get it though.
America.
I know, right? Because of the cocoa. Because of the cocoa. Like if you take enough cocoa leaves, you can make cocaine. But you need
like I don't know how many times, 1,000.
So if I
Yes.
buy cocoa leaves, I cannot bring it to. No?
But you can bring the tea.
Tea. I bought
The tea bag?
No, the tea leaves. No, you cannot bring it.
Only if you don't get caught. Yeah.
If you there is a bag that has the plain leaf on it, and it has a quantity. Those ones is a little bit more difficult unless it's completely sealed and it's in the back of not your carry-on. But if you have the tea bags, you know the presentation of the tea with the leaf on side of the tea bag, those are easier to pass.
Oh no, I got the leaves actually.
And
the
you're
tea
coming
leaves.
back
It's
to
it's
the
tea
US,
leaves,
right?
Yeah, and I don't have a.
You can claim ignorance, right? You just get put on the naughty boy list.
Like I
And
don't
how
know.
much is it?
I'm gonna.
Is it a lot?
Huh? I'm gonna say I don't know. How
How would you
do
know
they
that?
have those?
All of them
leaves?
say
They have it here too.
What do you mean heroin?
They
You
grow?
always say
The cocal
That's
leaf?
not mine.
Leaves.
Not
They
mine.
grow?
Of course, yeah. Why do you think Trump is fighting with our president so much? Because we're still growing a lot of coke.
You
No.
need like 1,000 times as much in cocoa leaves to make.
produce
yeah.
the cocaine. Yes.
So 1,000
Saying
ounces.
coconut.
Cocoa.
But I think it's a cocoa. To make a cocoa, and you put something else there, like some kind of.
That's what
It's not. It's not really.
I'm waiting for you guys to finish talking so I can
Alright.
explain to you why we're talking about this. So, the traditional way was to make it into a powder, right? We offer the tea nowadays. If you take that sacred plant from the indigenous people, right, and you mix it with who knows what they put on it, right, you can make cocaine, which is bad for your organism and it
Yeah.
creates a lot of social issues, right? If you take this plant, which is also sacred for indigenous people and is beneficial because all of the painkillers come from it, right? And you mix it with who knows what they put on it, you can create burundanga, scopolamina, rufus. Have you heard of that drug? The rape drug. No idea. So in Colombia they teach you about the scopolamina this way. Usually you're walking around the street and somebody comes over. Hey, how you doing? Can you help me find this address? And they hand you a paper, so you take the paper. Maybe the address is just, the handwriting is just not understandable. Maybe the address just doesn't really make sense. Altogether, no, sorry, I can't help you. And you give back the paper. You already touched the paper. The drug was on the paper, so it's on your hands. It's on your system now, right? So I will follow her. At some point, I will notice she's like dizzy, like, you know, where am I? Who am I, right? So I come back. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, let us go to the bank. I will take all your phone, your keys, your money, your passport, right? And willingly, she's like, yeah, sure, here are my keys. Yeah, my passport is this. Yeah, no, my apartment is this one. Oh, you want to take the, yeah, let me help you take the furniture out, right?
Oh wow.
Next day, you don't remember anything.
Wow.
Sometimes the amount of drug is so much, bodies just can't handle it, and people have died because of that. Have you heard the expression, don't give papaya? No den papaya? No? What does it mean?
Be careful.
Basically, don't put yourself in a position where people can take advantage of you, right? If you are going around Candelaria and you get lost, like, where am I? And you start looking lost, somebody's gonna come over. Hey, do you need help? Let me take you to your hotel. Give me your phone. What is your address? I'll walk you there. What are they actually trying to do? Take you to a dark alley, rob you, leave you there, and don't tell anybody. Right? Yes. Kindness doesn't come for free in Colombia.
Somebody touching you, right? With something.
Maybe as well, right? I always say if you don't have a reason to talk to people on the street, they don't have a reason to talk to you, right? And they will all usually come by like, hey, can you help me? I just need 1 minute of your time.
Oh, yeah, no.
You guys are foreigners. You can't really answer any local question. You can't really take anybody to anywhere, right? So do not hesitate. Hey, can I have a little? No. And you continue. You move on with your life. It's not with you, right? Just ignore them, right? Better be safe than sorry. Exactly. Let us continue.
Yesterday they offer us some drinks. We say no.
Yeah?
Yes, they offer.
In the bar?
Oh no, for the food I said. I said the same thing.
Those are different.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be one.
Adivinha, pessoal? Agora a gente vai subir uma montanha bem alta. Lá vamos nós.
So guys, can you see we have a V shape over here breaking the mountain? Oh yeah. Right? Back in the day, it was one whole mountain, right? There used to be a wall of mountain as well. What do you think happened?
Spanish?
Spanish people, yes. So Spanish people heard the story, right? There is a man made of gold throwing treasures into the lagoon. Under the lagoon, there is a city made of gold, right? They came looking for that gold. They saw the figurines. Hi, indigenous people, how you doing? I heard your gold is wonderful. Can I buy your figurines? They came back to Spain. They traded, right? They gave salt, they got the figurines. They took the figurines back to Spain. They melted the figurines, and they realized they were not 100% gold. So they got mad. Believing that indigenous people stole from them intentionally, they got back, hey, tell me where the rest of my gold is. You stole from me, tell me where my gold is. Tell me where the city of gold is right now, right? But they demanded, tell me where the lagoon is. This was a hidden, sacred place for indigenous communities. It wasn't advertised as it is today, right? So when they went, tell me where the lagoon is. But I don't want to tell you where the lagoon is, right? The lagoon may be right next to me. The lagoon. Yeah, sure, the lagoon. Yeah, yeah. Go over there, and then to the right, and then if you cross the other mountain, it's over there. Go. So they spent 3 months walking around this mountain, trying to find the lagoon. What was the strategy they used? One of the Spanish conquerors, Marqués de Quesada, he made one of the indigenous girls fall in love with him. And because of love, she showed him where the lagoon was. What did he do? He brought more soldiers and they started enslaving indigenous people. Because in their minds, if we have the lagoon, everything is covered in water, and the lagoon is and the city of gold is under the water, let us just take all of the water out so the city is left there, right? So they demanded indigenous people, hey, okay, start taking all of the water out. From your sacred lagoon, start draining it, right? For indigenous people, for their community, remember this is the womb of the mountain, right? So it represented like if I came into your homes with a really big knife, I give you the knife and I demand, stab your mothers in her womb and start taking everything out of her through that wound. How would you guys feel? How would your mothers feel? That's what indigenous people felt, right? They were able, using totumas, you know what a totuma is? A totuma is like similar to a coconut, right? They are round. On the inside, they are filled with different stuff. But if you open it in half, you have a bowl, right? This is what indigenous people use to start taking all of the water out, right? Many people died because for an indigenous person as well, it's better to die than to be a slave. So they chose death over just hurting their mother, right? Spanish people, as the level of the lagoon was going down, right, through the whole edge, remember this was centuries of communities offering things to the lagoon. So as the water was going down, they kept finding gold figurines through the edge of the lagoon. So they were convinced, keep digging, it is down there, look at the remainings, right? So through Cartagena, they started bringing machinery, explosives, and more slaves, right? That's why we have that river. They made a tunnel, because if we have the lagoon, they wanted to create a tunnel to drain the lagoon from underground, so the city got left there, right? Through Cartagena, right? If nowadays it takes about a week to bring anything from Cartagena with roads, how long would it take you 600 years ago, everything made jungle? And everything being made by human force, right? So they blocked the machinery, they blocked the explosives, they were able to touch the water of the lagoon, right, and started draining the lagoon. Apparently they forgot that water actually has a current, and when they touched the water, all of that water took all of the machinery, and and a lot of Spanish people just away with the current, and many of them died, right? That's also the ethnical roots of Colombia, right? Because they started bringing slaves. That's why the Caribbean, the coast of Colombia has a lot of black population, right? And we cannot only speak about African slaves. Because if I own slaves, I don't want them talking to each other, making plans against me, right? So I'm gonna bring one from Africa, one from Thailand, one from Jamaica, right? They would usually be dark skinned, but they couldn't speak the same language. That's why in Creole, nowadays, in San Andres, nowadays we have Creole language. What is Creole? A mix between Spanish, English, and French, right? So we have black communities, indigenous communities. Remember, we have record of over 160 of them. And why do I say we have record of 160 of them? Muisca community, for example, right? We know they crossed through what today is Panama. They came from the north. Where do they come from? No idea. Did they take over in a friendly manner or in a violent manner? No idea, right? Colombia nowadays has almost 600 years of history since Spanish people got here. But before that, we have centuries and centuries of history that is simply lost, because when Spanish people got here, if there was a community with 30 people, they didn't write. Community with 30 people. They like gold. They grow potatoes. 30 possible slaves I can take back to Europe. Everything was, how can I exploit it, right? How can I make the most out of it? So if there was a community who didn't want to comply, who didn't want to make business, why would we keep it on record? Let us just make it disappear and nothing happened here. Mid-August, they found 12 skeletons in Boyacá, buried all together, right? And the DNA of those 12 skeletons have no match to any known DNA ever. Where do they come from? Who were they? Why? Many questions we have no answers to, right? Many things, like lots and lots of information that is simply lost, right? We're still finding out things about yourselves while we're trying to fix the things that happened when Spanish people visited us, right? So it took them about 100 years, right, since from the moment they started digging and draining this place up to the moment when the lagoon just drew everybody out, right? Indigenous people explained the mountain defended itself because a couple of days after they made the tunnel, there was a sliding in the mountain, right? So it covered the tunnel. So that's why we still have some lagoon, right? And then everybody was allowed to come in here. Spanish people kind of gave up, like wasting too much money here and I'm not finding anything, right? So everybody in the world was allowed to come in here. Dear Spain, can I go and take some things out of your lagoon? I heard that is wonderful. Love, Italy. Dear Italy, go and take whatever you want, as long as you give me half of whatever you find. Let us say you each came, you started digging, you found 5 tons of emeralds. Are you gonna tell the Spanish crown that you found all that? No. Why would we, right? So we don't really know how much was taken off this place, because why would we keep a clean record of what we found around here, right? So that's why we have then this road. We Colombians, we started doing something called Paseo de Rio, right? What is a Paseo de Rio? So maybe it is a Sunday, a holiday, right? We don't want to stay home. We know of this lagoon, this river, this waterfall, maybe 1-2 hours away from home. So we take a whole pot, take a whole chicken, several vegetables, we come next to the lagoon, we cook next to the lagoon, maybe we swim a little, maybe we sleep a little. The idea is to spend the day in the jungle, in nature, right? 5, 6 p.m., we go back home. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming in here. Everybody cooking next to the lagoon. Everybody leaving their garbage next to the lagoon. Everybody using the sacred water from the lagoon to wash the cars, right? Did anybody wash their hands in the bathroom? Yeah? So you bathe your hands in sacred water from the lagoon. Don't ever wash your hands again. Right? In 1983, the CAR, the government institution that bought this piece of land in order to protect it, they were like, hey, why is the mountain going up? Everything seems to be dying around here. Why? Why? Maybe it's because of the garbage around the lagoon. Okay, let us clean the garbage. They took more than 10 tons of garbage only out of this place, right?
Igual que te oye muy bien.
Oh, maybe it's because we're killing the protected plant. Do you know what a frailejón is? No? No? It is on the 5,000 Colombian pesos bill. Let me see if I have one and I'll show it to you. They work as really big sponges. We call them now the protectors of life, the protectors of water, right? Wherever it rains is in the back of the bill. That is a frailejón. Those leaves you see, they will collect the water, right? The frailejón is hollow on the inside. He will keep the water on the inside, and whenever there is a sunny season, he will release little bits of that water, so the mountain is always wet. We didn't know that. So whenever we came for the Paseo de Rio, hey, need a pillow, frailejón down. Hey, need a fire, another frailejón down. We were just killing and killing and killing. Basically because we didn't know any better, right? So in 1998, when they realized what was hurting the mountain, they started trying to create consciousness. Hey, you visitor, we are trying to protect this place, thank you. Can you please take your garbage and take it outside of the mountain? You know, just whatever you come in with, take it outside as well. And people were simply not listening. You know, there's some people that believe that the world is the biggest trash can ever, right? And they just won't respect nature. So in 2006, the car got fed up and they were like, okay, nobody goes in with any kind of food. Nobody goes in with any kind of plastic. Even dogs are not allowed in here. Why? So we have 600 hectares of protected land, right? Half of it, the lagoon part, belongs to Sesquilet town. The other side, the upper side of the mountain, belongs to Guatavita. That's also why the road coming in here is not fixed, because both city halls are fighting over whose responsibility is it to fix the road. So, you know, it's your road, so it's yours, so nobody wants to pay to fix it. 600 hectares of protected land. Hunting was legal in Colombia up until mid-July this year, right? We are surrounded by private farms. What are the farms about? We have seen it all the way. Potatoes and cows, right? Also, we have some roses. If they are covered in a white plastic, those are roses, right? Surrounded by private farms. If a deer, a bear wanted to cross to the protected land, they would have to cross through the private farm, right? If the owner of the farm saw the animal, machetazo down, they became dinner. Now they are able to cross. But if a dog pees or poops here, that same deer, that same bear is gonna be like, oh no, that territory is marked, is somebody else's, I cannot go there. So they won't come. That's why they are forbidden. Frailejones, for example, we cannot plant them. We can only allow them a safe space for them to reproduce. That's what we are trying to do, right? Let us continue walking a little bit more. Yes.
There are bears around.
Yes, we have seen bears in the south of Bogota. Right now in this mountain, sadly, there are none. We hope for them to come back.
There are pumas. Pumas.
Pumas, we have seen pumas at the south of Medellin, yes.
But not here.
Not here. Not
We'd be worried.
No, you'll be fine.
Actually, from Finland, there's this place where you go and sit wild bears, so they just come around you. You can spend the night there, and there's like 50 bears there. They kill you every time, but they've never done anything like for the last People give them food. Give them food. Well, that's basically a couple of guys who are allowed to give them a little bit so they stay around the area. Then there's the bear hunting season, which is nice that for some reason, one day before they know it's starting, they're gone. They disappear. Yeah. And it's so, like, how can they know that? You think? It started from I ate there. Yeah, from down there.
So the water of the lagoon used to be as tall as the mountain. Right now we are on the other side of this dam, right? The lagoon is only 300 meters away from here, but you can see it is now closed, right? Nobody goes into the water anymore, nobody touches it. All of this mountain used to be underwater, right? We're gonna go through the mountain and see the lagoon from the top of the mountain, right? Now, yeah, we're gonna start going up. Remember, as we hike, in through your nose, out through your mouth. If you start feeling dizzy, like your heart maybe is pounding too hard, you let me know. We can stop. We have no rush, right? Don't wait for you to pass out to let me know that you were dizzy, okay? Let me know in advance so we can wait, right? As we go up, you will notice on the trees, on the ground, all the lichen, all the moss. This is how you can tell this air is clean and pure, like filled with oxygen, right? So you want to take as much of it inside your lungs, right? Now, ready to continue? Chowa?
Choe.
Choe.
You're squeezed between two groups. Então vamos lá. Mais uma. Bom, segundo ela, não tem cobra, mas tem urso.
I have a native place, 21, so I can't run long distance anymore. But that was my peace, my meditation was running.
Maybe we need to go a
You
little
don't
bit
have
slower.
to follow my pace.
Ah,
You
no?
guys are following mine, but I have to get to the places first.
So we don't need to kind of run.
Yeah, no, no.
Just take time.
You should go first and set the pace.
Combine
Because we're all feeling it, right? It's not just...
No, but just,
You set the pace.
no, just go slower. Because I'm running.
If I look up, I'm like, oh no, that's too far.
Okay, guys, the animals to your right are the animals that we currently have on the mountain. Starting on the top, the red fox. That blackbird, we call it pava chillona, like loud turkey. Hummingbirds, orchids, bees, beetles, lizards, the woodpecker. The one in the bottom to the left is not a raccoon, it's not an ants bear. We call it kusumbo, a mountain coati. No, a mountain coati, right? They are really violent, really aggressive.
Really?
If you encounter this animal, wherever, right, and you are carrying food, just leave the food and run. They have some really nice fangs. They won't hesitate to use on you for whatever you smell like, right? They have a couple of cousins through Latin America. So in Ecuador, for example, they also have a mountain coati, but they are slightly different, right, like cousins. This is how we want the mountain to look like again, right? With the national bird, the condor, right? We have wildcats, the pumas, tapirs, deers, dogs, the armadillos, the hummingbirds, chillonas, the cuys, the anticles bear. You know, Colombia has a kind of bear, right? Why do we call it anticles bear? Because they have two white circles around their eyes, so it looks like they are wearing glasses. Anticles bear, right? When was it that we closed the lagoon and we actually started protecting it? 2006, right? And right now we are in 2025. So how long have we been protecting this mountain for?
19.
Yeah, 20 years, right? Only 20 years. Which for nature is nothing exactly. We started last night at midnight, right? We have done nothing. It's gonna take us at least 100 years to actually see some of these changes happen, right? We're not totally doomed. We have seen, now in the Jaime Duque Park, we have eggs of the condor that hatched, right? So we know the species is there, we can continue growing them. We have seen pumas by the south of Medellin, we have seen bears by the south of Bogota, right? I have eaten deer, we still have tapirs. There are still a lot of animals coming back. So, you know, there is hope for us to actually preserve nature the way it should be, right? How are you guys feeling? Chowa?
Choway.
Remember, you don't have to rush. This is my gene.
Olha que vista bonita.
COVID, we have no visitors, but if I can come every day, I do. Why?
Oh, yes.
You look like you hike this every day. Guys, do you see that? There is a tree, looks kind of white, has a lighter shade than the rest of the trees. Do you see it?
Yes.
That is where the car dropped us off. This is how much you have walked so far. Look at me, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you see there is a red floor made with bricks?
No. Yeah.
The floor, yeah.
Between the trees
Right,
over
that
there.
is the ceremonial house.
Oh, yes. Very once a month?
You might imagine, right? It is totally 150 stairs. How many so far?
How many?
You haven't been
140,
counting?
please.
Well, if you prefer, I can wait here.
We can go again.
And you let me know how many so far.
130.
Total 150.
Oh, but that's not a lot.
Right? It's not so difficult, no? It's possible, it's
We're gonna
doable.
do 700 too.
What are they growing over there?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Very good. Surprise, surprise. To your left and to your right, cow farms, right?
So they're
What are
raising?
those white lines for?
To keep the cattle.
No, those actually are like stone paths, like a road made with stone. Why? Right now we are in what we call subpáramo. We are 3,000 meters altitude right now, right? Over here you don't really find trees. Everything is low-sized bushes. You will find a lot of this weed actually. This one is really pointy, and if you follow it with your fingers, you get your fingers cut, right? If it starts raining, no trees to hide under, nowhere to get cover. You will get soaking wet. If it starts to get sunny, again, no shadow. You will burn yourself, right? Those cows then, whenever it rains a lot, those fields become too muddy. If you leave your cows just sitting on that mud, they will get worms in their hooves. They will get sick, right? So farmers walk the cows through those stone paths just to keep them out of the mud, right? So they don't get sick. Basically, that's what
They're
they're for.
flat. But it was like this when it's flat.
Now, did you see the frailejón yet?
No.
It's right in front of you guys.
What is it?
You see, there is a plant that has some flowers coming out of it. They are now brown, supposed to be yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one over there looks like a really big pineapple.
So this one.
This one here.
Yes, that one over there.
That takes a lot of water?
Huh?
That's the one that takes a lot of water?
All the water, yes. That is called the frailejón. You can also see it over here. Over here. Right? This is the frailejón. We should not touch frailejones. Whenever we touch frailejones, you see they start to break down and die, right? Whenever it rains, through those hairs they have on top, they will collect every water drop. This is the frailejón on the inside. It is hollow. This is where the water is stored, right? Because we don't want direct sunlight just evaporating the water inside the frailejón. He will create shade. Those gray leaves are to protect the water already inside the frailejón, right? We have frailejones in Ecuador, Venezuela, and Colombia. We, Colombia, have over 60% of the world's frailejones. They grow 1 centimeter per year. How old is he this? How old is this guy?
1 centimeter per year?
So maybe 50 years?
30.
1 centimeter. 50.
20 years old. Remember, we closed this place.
Ah, yes, 20.
From the thingy down there. Yeah.
About 20.
They say here 20 years. And then whose main responsibility is it to take care of frailejones? Colombia's, right? Because we have 60% of the world's frailejones. If we kill them all, right? And again, they are the protectors of life, water, right? If they stop collecting water, right? Because whenever there is a sunny season and the ground just gets too dry, too warm, they start releasing water in the ground, so the mountain was always wet, right? They are just making sure that there is always water around, right? How do we know people touch them? I'll show you.
Oh my gosh. running.
This is how we know. Because people walk by, you're like, oh, nobody's looking at me. That is not paying attention to me. Nobody's gonna know that I just took a quick touch to the plant. But look, he stopped growing leaves. Right? Eventually, he won't have no leaves anymore, and he will just dry up.
Even these top ones up there.
Exactly. You can see the tips over here. Right? This is how we know. The official government name is Frailejón Ernesto Pérez. They created a whole animated series and songs to teach kids how to take care of frailejones. Why kids? Because there are some grown generations that believe, you know, the world is, they use biggest trash can ever. So we can train kids, you know, into actually taking care of nature, actually, you know, being able to preserve what we already have. I'm gonna show you the tallest frailejón then that we currently have in the mountain.
Precisamos anotar esse nome aí. Mexeram, parou de sair folha. E esse é dá pra ver os cabelinhos. Branquinhos.
Thank you. Guys, me, Tatiana, I am 152 centimeters tall. 152. They grow 1 centimeter per year. He's a little bit taller than me. How old is he? Huh? Almost 160 years old, right? And you can see why people took them as fireplaces, as pillows, right? You can see how we are trying to fill the mountain with the frailejones. If you feel the need to touch the frailejón, there are some broken leaves over here. These two are already dying. Just, you know, if you feel the need, just touch the already dying leaves. Do not kill a new one. If you go to the Páramo de Sumapaz, by the south of Bogota, there is a forest filled with the frailejones, right? Remember, they grow 1 centimeter per year. Now, in Páramo de Sumapaz, they are 7, 8 meters tall, right? They reach, we have seen them 12 meters tall. So how old do they get to be?
400.
Thousands and thousands of years, right? One more reason to take care of them. Now, the lagoon is right here.
Cresce 2 centímetros por ano. Super frágil, se você tocar ela morre. Ela acumula água e quando está muito seco ela vai liberando a água, mantendo a montanha toda úmida. Se você tiver muitas dessas, é claro. Opa. Pessoal, estamos a poucos metros da Lagoa Sagrada Verde Esmeralda, onde os muiscas faziam o ritual que deu o nome, é a origem da lenda do Dorado. Agora tem um grupo grande ali. A gente vai esperar um pouco que eles vão descer. Tem outro grupo subindo. É um lugar bastante visitado. Não é à toa, devido à sua grande importância. É uma lagoa sagrada, já era sagrada para os muiscas. E depois a gente vai falar sobre esse ritual. Vamos ver essa lagoa.
finalmente, chicos, concluimos pues, con esta leyenda o una de las adaptaciones que tenemos en este lugar. Ya finalmente nos queda desplazarnos hacia el segundo y tercer mirador. Recuerden, luego del tercero inician el descenso de la laguna. Son más o menos 400 metros de solo bajada hasta estar por fuera de la reserva. Van a llegar al punto que se conoce como la Casa Amarilla. Justo ahí es donde de pronto los que traen conductor privado, pues ahí los va a estar esperando él. Pero de pronto los que necesiten volver por el vehículo a la parte de los parqueaderos, cuando deben tomar el centro. Recuerden, están yendo a la reserva y por la o la otra para que se la parte de la casita.
Mirador lá longe.
The level of the water used to cover the whole thing, right? It was as tall as the edge of the mountain. That whole wall of forest used to be underwater. This is where Spanish people found the gold figurines, so they kept digging and digging, right? How deep is the lagoon nowadays? Just water between 25 and 30 meters. Then you find a lot of algae, a lot of plants. Then you find a lot of mud. They haven't found an actual rock bottom, so they don't really know how deep it is, right? At the beginning of the 2000s, some divers went in trying to see what was down there, you know, some bottom stuff. They never found the bottom, and most of them drowned. So there is the legend. For me, it's more of a propaganda, because they say a couple of them went in, and one of them got saved because of a miraculous hand that just took him out of the water and put him to shore. So the propaganda is like, you know, you're not as lucky as him, so don't go in. Nobody will save you, right? But I think it's more of a propaganda to just say, don't go into the water, right? Yeah. Nobody goes to swimming there. Nobody goes to fish there. There is no kind of, any kind of activity goes there. There is only one kind of fish in there called guapucha, doesn't grow bigger than 10 centimeters. I've seen dogs coming in eating off the fish, right? Some people believe this is a volcano, right? But we are in the Andes Cordillera. There are no volcanoes in this area of Colombia, right? Some other people believe a meteorite fell and it created the lagoon. When the meteorites fall, they just don't fall like that. They fall horizontally and they leave a trail where nothing grows, right? Do you see a trail? Right. So it wasn't a meteorite, right? Some other people believe aliens. We are still to see, right? The only logical explanation we had is that everything used to be covered in water. Water started to dry off. The ground was already formed in circular shapes, so the lagoons got created. There are other 6 lagoons, 7 in total, all connected because of the water underground, right? What do we use the water for? To water the fields, to water the farms, right? We shouldn't drink water from here. It is slightly alkaline, so long term it will have a bad effect on your kidneys, right? So guys, I just told you why this place was important for indigenous community. The ceremony that will take place here, right? I just told you why Spanish people, what are my Spanish people like? They took over, right? And led by greed, because there is no other explanation, they just took over everything, right? And now I also explained to you how we are trying to recover this place, right? How we are trying to do better. Do you have any questions? No? All good? Did you like the story? Yeah.
I love the story. No, the whole concept of the ball without the volcano. How it was created. Yeah.
You thought it was a volcano? Yeah, many people.
It looks like it.
No, ya seguimos para acá. So, the story is over, right? You don't have to stay with me anymore. I don't have anything else to teach you. We are in the second viewing point. We still have the third viewing point over there. From there, you get to see the opening, the gap, the bouquet. Way clear, way nice, where they started going in the lagoon. From there, you start going down, you don't see the lagoon anymore. Yes.
That's the exit.
Yes, we don't go back. We just continue doing
You
this.
never told us about the tunnel. But not how that.
So you see, we have the vision.
Yeah.
They explain that the soil just slide, right? So it covered the tunnel. That's why the lagoon is not raining anymore. Right, you saw the little hut where the image was with the bouquet. That was part of the tunnel. That's why they covered it when it was sliding. So they made it like the way.
So this just fell down.
Yes, exactly. That's why we have the eucalyptus and the pines over here. Remember, the lake started to dry off, so there is a lot of erosion, right? The ground is still drying off. That's why we have a lot of slidings. The things with the roots of these trees is that they attach the ground to the soil, right? So we plant them on the mountains precisely so there are no sliding anymore, right? Back in the day, we didn't have those, so the sliding was easier.
So that river we see down there, it's coming from the lagoon. And where the extra water is coming from?
That's how.
It comes from the bottom, yeah?
Many people believe there is something down there, of course. Life is
It's not just
coming
rain,
out there.
it comes water from
Underground, exactly.
É nascente. É do que nasce.
Exactly, we have no idea. Have you seen the beginning of a river? It just comes out of the ground like how, why? I couldn't. So far my knowledge doesn't go so far.
So back in the day.
Yes.
Where was the river?
No, there was no river. That was human-made.
So the extra water goes where?
What is extra water?
Now we have extra water going, creating a river, right? Like it's born in some extra water from the bottom.
I mean, how can I explain this? We have the cup, right?
Yeah.
If I open a hole in the side of the cup, right, by this altitude, for example, the water inside the cup won't go higher than that, right?
Yeah.
That's the river, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was a whole cup, so the lagoon was able to hold all of the water.
Yeah.
Because we opened the lagoon, now it's raining by one side, right? How can I explain?
But
Yeah.
okay. If there is a source here.
Uh-huh.
It's creating this river. There's a source. Would fill it up, and eventually create a river.
And the frailejones will storage the excess water. Frailejones, the plant that I showed you, that we showed in
really?
Dutch, exactly. Those water, that's why we have it in this altitude. Exactly. Ecosystems,
Nice way out.
exactly. They all work the same way. So whenever there is a lot of water, they just keep it. Whenever we have a dry season, they give that water back to the lagoon, right? So we always have the water. More questions, more questions.
More questions. So they never really dry out totally.
Dorado, no, never.
Never.
Some people have suggested filling the gap up so the level of the water goes up again. They don't fix the road commonly here. They keep picking a fight on whose responsibility it is to fix the road. What makes you think they're gonna waste the money? That's why it doesn't get covered anymore.
Decifrando Fawcett.